He was invited by mistake, but never left. It was a quiet evening in October. The rain was falling softly, tapping against the windows of Emma's small house like a gentle song. Inside, everything smelled warm: roasted chicken, apple pie, and cinnamon candles. Emma moved around the kitchen, humming quietly as she placed plates on the table. It was her best friend Clara's birthday, and this year she wanted to make it special, just the two of them. A cozy dinner at home. The house felt peaceful. Outside, the wind moved through the trees, and the yellow light from the street lamp spilled across the wet pavement. Emma checked the clock. It was almost 7 p.m. She smiled. Clara would be late, as always, but right at 7 o'clock, there was a knock at the door. She froze for a moment, surprised. Then she laughed softly. That's new. Clara's on time. She opened the door and stopped. There was a man standing there. He was tall, maybe late 30s or early 40s, with dark hair and serious gray eyes. His coat was wet from the rain, and he held a small umbrella in one hand. "Good evening," he said politely. His voice was calm, deep, and slightly tired. "I'm here for dinner." Emma blinked. "You must be Clara's friend," she said uncertainly. The man nodded slightly. "Yes, Clara invited me." For a moment, she hesitated. Clara hadn't mentioned anyone else. But Emma didn't want to seem rude. Maybe Clara had decided to bring someone along. She did that often. So Emma smiled warmly. "Of course. Please, come in. It's terrible weather." The man stepped inside, placing his umbrella carefully by the door. The sound of rain faded as the door closed. Emma guided him to the dining room. The candles flickered gently, and soft jazz played in the background. The man glanced around the room quietly, his eyes moving from the books on the shelves to the glowing candles, as if he was remembering something. He sat down slowly. "It's nice here," he said softly. "Thank you," Emma replied. "Can I get you some tea while we wait for Clara?" He nodded. That would be lovely. When she returned with 2 cups of tea, the man was sitting very still, his hands folded neatly on the table. Minutes passed, then 10, then 20. Still, Clara didn't arrive. Emma tried to make small talk. "So, how do you know, Clara?" The man smiled faintly, his gaze fixed on the rain outside. "It's a long story." Something about his tone made Emma uneasy. He wasn't impolite, just distant, cold, but not cruel. When she looked closer, she noticed his hands were trembling slightly. The clock ticked loudly. Outside, thunder rolled softly across the sky. Still no Clara. Emma checked her phone. No messages, no missed calls. She typed quickly. "Hey, are you on your way? Your friend is already here." Then she set her phone down and tried to stay calm. The man spoke suddenly. "It's strange," he said quietly. "I didn't think I'd come back to this street again." Emma frowned slightly. "You've been here before." He gave a small smile, but didn't answer. She laughed nervously. "Well, it's a nice neighborhood." He looked at her directly. "Yes, it used to be." Something about the way he said it gave her goosebumps. An hour passed. The candles were shorter now. The chicken was cold. The man hadn't eaten much. He only stirred his tea slowly, watching the rain fall in steady lines against the window. Emma finally picked up her phone again. She called Clara once, twice. No answer. She sighed, trying to sound calm. "I hope she's all right." The man looked up. "Clara won't come," he said softly. Emma froze. "What do you mean?" He looked at her with eyes that seemed both sad and knowing. She sent me the message by mistake. Her voice dropped. You mean you don't know her? He shook his head. No, I was walking near the park when my phone buzzed. A message came, dinner at 7. Don't be late. The name was Clara, I thought. Maybe it was meant for me. Maybe it was a sign. Emma stared at him, confused. A sign? From who? The man smiled faintly. You see, 3 years ago, I lost my wife. Her name was Claire. The name was almost the same. Clara, Claire, he continued softly. We used to have dinner every Friday at 7. When I saw that message, it felt like she was calling me again. Emma's heart softened. The fear she had felt earlier slowly disappeared. She said gently, I'm sorry. That must be hard. He nodded. It is. Some nights I still set 2 plates on the table. I still hear her laugh in the kitchen. I know she's gone, but sometimes, he looked up at her, sometimes it feels like she's just late for dinner. Emma didn't know what to say. The air felt heavy with emotion. She whispered, really beautiful. He smiled a little. Thank you for letting me stay. You didn't have to. Emma shook her head. No, I think maybe you were meant to come. The man chuckled softly. Maybe, or maybe the universe just needed someone kind tonight. The storm began to fade. The sound of rain became a quiet rhythm, like a heartbeat. They talked for hours. He told her about the places he and Claire had visited, the small cafe by the sea, the park where he proposed, the song they danced to on their wedding night. Emma listened, eyes soft. His voice painted pictures of laughter, of loss, of love that still lingered. She realized that this stranger wasn't lost. He was holding on to something, a memory that refused to fade. When he smiled, it wasn't a happy smile. It was gentle, sad, but peaceful, like someone remembering a dream they didn't want to wake from. The rain stopped completely. The sky outside was deep and dark, with silver clouds moving slowly across the moon. Inside, the candles burned low, and the soft jazz on the radio had turned into a quiet, sleepy melody. Emma poured them both one last cup of tea. He took a sip, then said quietly, You remind me of her. Emma looked up. Of your wife? Yes, he said. Not in how you look, but in how you listen. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't awkward anymore. It felt calm, warm, almost sacred. The clock struck midnight. He stood slowly, adjusting his coat. It's late. I should go. Emma stood too. Are you sure? It's cold outside. He smiled softly. It's all right. I've had enough warmth for one night. He walked to the door and paused. Thank you, Emma, for reminding me that kindness still exists. Then he left, quietly closing the door behind him. The next morning, sunlight slipped through the curtains. Emma stretched and smiled faintly, remembering the strange, peaceful night. She picked up her phone to tell Clara everything, the message, the man, the conversation. But then she noticed something odd. The last message, dinner at 7. Don't be late, wasn't sent to Clara. It was sent from her own phone. Emma frowned. Her hands shook as she scrolled. No, it couldn't be. She hadn't typed that message. Her breath quickened. Slowly, she walked to the window and pulled back the curtain. Across the street, under the soft golden morning light, she saw him. The same man. He was sitting on a bench, looking peaceful. When he saw her, he smiled gently and raised his hand, a quiet goodbye. Before she could react, A breeze moved through the trees, and he was gone. The bench was empty. Sometimes life sends us strangers who remind us that kindness can heal even the deepest pain. And sometimes a mistake becomes the story that changes how we see people forever. English tip: when you hear this story again, notice these useful phrases. By mistake, make conversation. Feel human again. They're common in real English conversations. Try using them today when you speak. If you enjoyed this story and want to listen to more emotional and mysterious English stories like this one, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the bell. New stories are waiting for you every week.